This is RiverTalks with Jonathan Brush, President and CEO of Unbound.
This is our 7th episode in our ongoing series here about what it means to thrive, particularly in the context of what it means for young adults to thrive as they're moving into becoming full adults. And so far, we talked about the definition of what it means to thrive, what it means to own your purpose, serve others, to have healthy relationships, and to create value. And last episode, we talked about what it means to live resiliently in the real world. In this episode, we're going to talk about in light of eternity. And so throughout all of this, I've mentioned again and again that this is all from the perspective of a Christian worldview. And to be full and transparent, I don't believe it's possible to be able to fully thrive without being able to subscribe to the truth, which I think is represented in the Christian worldview and the Christian set of beliefs. And so the next to last piece here in our definition of what it means to thrive is to live in light of eternity. And if that sounds odd, I want to just kind of unpack that a little bit and say that to live in light of eternity means to live in the reality of something bigger. And my personal observations, lots of reading, and I think you'd find lots of good thinkers throughout the ages would agree with this, is that it is important for man, and by man I mean generically humankind, it is important for humankind to be able to contextualize their own existence. And that means being able to live in light of eternity, that there is an odd sort of yes and type of situation where, yes, it is important to live in the moment, to fully enjoy the present of where we are, but to be able to fully enjoy the present, to be able to fully understand where we are, we have to contextualize that by placing it in light of eternity. And from a Christian perspective, that just means that we understand that we're not God. And I think that phrase, that sort of understanding is extremely essential. And so to live in the light of eternity means to live and understand that our personal time is fleeting, that we are part of something much bigger, that we are not God, that there are things beyond our control and beyond our understanding, and there are things that are vastly more important than ourselves and our own lives. And helps us to then understand our place better. It understands and gives us perspective to see and to comprehend and to deal with the things that we deal with on an ongoing basis in light. And then it has some surprising results. So, for example, I think to live in light of eternity and to live in this understanding that we're not God can manifest itself in the essential requirement to rest. I don't think that you can fully thrive unless you know how to fully rest. And to fully rest means to acknowledge that you are not God. So, of course, in the Christian tradition, we would adhere to the 10 Commandments that says to remember my Sabbath day and keep it holy, and that God tells us to rest because he himself rested. And I think that what that looks like in today's modern world is that at some point we have to take a breath at least once a week, and stop and say, we're not God. And if I don't rest, I'm saying that my family, my business, my church, my community, my neighborhood, they won't function if I'm not present. That without me, they would just disappear, that everything would go to catastrophe. And that we have to say that that's just simply not true. In light of eternity, there are bigger things at play here. And so a day of rest is not just a chance for you to recharge and to restore yourself, but it is also an acknowledgement that you're not the biggest thing going here, that you're acknowledging your place and your overall position in the world, and that you're saying that it's not all up to you, that you trust in something bigger. So to be able to thrive means to live in the light of eternity, to be able to have that very important context for our lives. And if we can understand our place, if we can think in that grand scheme, that it somewhat ironically, or not ironically, somewhat strangely allows us to live more fully in the present. And when we're able to do that, we're well on our way to being able to know how to thrive.